Today, the sun illuminates Lilith. The shadow that was once a secret now becomes a presence. What you hid within yourself, the whole world can feel. This is the second act of our 3-day journey with the wildest force of our soul. Yesterday, the confrontation with Venus broke the mask of harmony. We were forced to face the abyss between the love we perform to be accepted and the raw desire that inhabits our core. That was a day of tension, of internal conflict, of a discomfort that revealed a truth. Today, the quality of the energy changes. Tension gives way to expression. Conflict gives way to a powerful and, at times, frightening alliance. What happens in the sky today is an opportunity, not a battle. The sun in Virgo, the center of our identity and our consciousness, forms a harmonious aspect with Lilith in Scorpio. Think about this. Our clearest light is extending a hand to our deepest shadow. The sun is not trying to expose Lilith to judge or burn her. It is offering her a spotlight, inviting her to come on stage and legitimizing her existence. The cosmic message is clear. Your repressed force, your non-negotiable truth, your wild nature is not something to be hidden. It is an essential part of who you are. Today's journey is about this revelation. What happens when you stop hiding the power you have? Who are you when your most authentic truth is illuminated for all to see? And how do you navigate the courage and the fear that this inevitable exposure brings? This is the challenge and the gift of the second day. It is no longer about feeling the conflict. It is about having the courage to show it. Today's energy is born from an alliance, not a conflict. In the sky, the sun in Virgo forms a sextile with Lilith in Scorpio. A sextile is an aspect of opportunity, a door that opens, a harmonious conversation between two very different energies. It is the cosmos offering us a chance to integrate two parts of ourselves that rarely dialogue, our conscious identity and our most repressed force. Yesterday, the tension of the square forced us to see the fracture between our desire and our image. Today, the sextile offers us the bridge to begin healing that fracture, not through struggle, but through illumination. Let's understand the protagonists of this alliance. On one side, we have the sun in the sign of Virgo. The sun is the center of our identity, our consciousness, the light of our reason. In Virgo, this is not a blinding light of pride, but a clear, analytical, and focused light. It is the light of a diagnostician, of an artisan who does not illuminate to show off, but to see the details, to understand how things work, to purify, and to improve. The sun in Virgo has a mission to bring order, clarity, and functionality. It does not judge what it illuminates. It merely analyzes it with the goal of making it more perfect, more whole. On the other side, we have Lilith in Scorpio. Lilith is our wild force, our instincts, our primordial power. In Scorpio, she inhabits the realm of deep psychological truths, of raw desire, of magnetic power, and of an intimacy that transcends the superficial. She is the part of us that does not fear the darkness, that understands the complex dynamics of power, and that longs for a soul connection, free of masks. Lilith in Scorpio is the guardian of our most visceral truth, of that force that, because it is so potent, we often repress and hide for fear of its impact. Today, the analytical and purifying light of the sun in Virgo descends to the deep realm of Lilith in Scorpio. And what happens is what defines the energy of this day. The light does not come to burn the shadow, but to reveal it. It is, as you said, a spotlight on what you tried to hide. That part of your strength that you considered too much, that desire you judged as inappropriate, that powerful intuition you learned to silence. Today, the sun illuminates them. And by illuminating them, it gives them legitimacy. It brings them from the exile of the subconscious to the stage of your consciousness. The message is clear and liberating. This force is also you. This desire is also you. This power is also you. There's no point in hiding it anymore. What was buried now breathes light. The manifestations of truth. When the sun, the center of our identity, illuminates our most repressed truth, that truth does not remain quiet. The light demands expression. The energy that was legitimized in our consciousness, as we saw in the previous chapter, now seeks a path to the outer world. Today is marked by this overflowing, by this movement from what was secret to what becomes visible. The alliance between the sun and Lilith manifests through acts of courage, through moments of spontaneous authenticity that can surprise others as much as ourselves. This is not about a calculated plan. It is about our truth, now illuminated, refusing to continue living in the shadows. The first and most powerful manifestation of this is the truths spoken aloud, without rehearsal. Think about the last few days or weeks. How many times did you feel something but say something else to keep the peace? How many times did you swallow your true opinion so as not to displease or silence a desire for fear of being judged? Today, the energy no longer allows for this type of self-censorship. You may find yourself in the middle of a conversation, and suddenly, the words you always wanted to say simply come out. It could be a clear and firm no to a request that you would normally accept out of obligation. It could be the expression of a deep desire you have always kept secret. It could be honest feedback to a friend or colleague, said not with the intention to hurt, but with the clarity of someone who can no longer sustain a lie. The main characteristic of these moments is their spontaneity. It is not a speech you prepared. It is your Lilith, now with the confidence of the sun, taking the microphone and speaking her truth without asking for permission. The second manifestation goes beyond words and enters the field of spontaneous attitudes. It is the moment when your body and your choices begin to align with your internal truth, breaking the patterns of your habitual performance. You may wake up and feel an irresistible urge to dress in a way that expresses your most authentic self, even if it breaks the expected dress code in your environment. You might make a small, rebellious decision. Instead of doing the productive task that everyone expects of you, you dedicate your morning to a creative project that nourishes your soul. It could be the simple act of buying a book on a subject you've always loved in secret, or of playing a song that expresses your intensity without worrying about who is listening. Each of these small attitudes is an act of sovereignty. It is your being declaring, "This is also me. This part of me also deserves to exist in the light of day." It is these small breaks in your performative routine that begin to solidify your new and more whole identity. Finally, the third manifestation is authentic reactions. Today, it becomes extremely difficult to fake a feeling. If you are not happy, your face cannot force a convincing smile. If you disagree with something, your body language will show it, even if you don't say a word. If something excites you, your brilliance will be undeniable. The energy of the sun, illuminating Lilith, closes the space between what you feel inside and what you express outside. Your presence becomes more transparent, more magnetic, more real. And this can be frightening. Exposing our truth without filters leaves us vulnerable. The fear of being judged or rejected is real. But this is where today's true lesson lies. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is letting the world see you, even if you are trembling. It is to own your truth with all its intensity and imperfection, and to trust that the strength that comes from that authenticity is greater than any fear. The price of visibility. The act of allowing our truth to come to light is one of the most powerful and liberating we can experience. But it would be an illusion to think that this act has no consequences, bringing our shadow onto the stage of consciousness, as the alliance between the Sun and Lilith invites us to do today, inevitably creates shockwaves, both within us and in the world around us. The light, upon entering a dark room, not only illuminates what is beautiful, it also reveals the dust, the cobwebs, and what needs to be tidied up. The visibility of our soul has a price, and understanding this price is not an act of pessimism, but of preparation and wisdom. The goal is not to avoid the discomfort, but to cross through it with consciousness. The first price to be paid is internal, the discomfort of exposure. Immediately after an act of spontaneous authenticity, that truth you spoke aloud, that attitude that broke your pattern, a wave of vulnerability, fear, almost of regret, may arise. Your Venus in Leo, the part of you that longs for approval and harmony, may panic. What have I done? What will they think of me now? Did I go too far? This feeling is normal. It is your old self, your performative ego, mourning the loss of control over your image. Welcome this vulnerability. It is proof that you are operating from a new place. It is the feeling of walking without armor for the first time. It is frightening, but it is also the first step to truly feeling the sun on your skin. The second price, and the most visible, is the external reaction. The people in your life have grown accustomed to your mask, to your performance. Your predictability gave them security. When you suddenly reveal yourself in a more authentic and raw way, it forces a reaction. And it is here that our guide phrase becomes the law of the day. When the truth appears, it tests bonds, but it also frees from the lie. Some bonds will be strengthened. The people who love you for your essence and not for your function or your mask will celebrate your courage. They may feel inspired by your authenticity, and the connection between you will deepen. However, other bonds will be tested. People whose relationship with you was based on your ability to please, to not make trouble, or to maintain a specific power dynamic may react badly. They may become confused, angry, or distant. Your authenticity can function as a mirror, forcing them to face their own inauthenticity, and that is uncomfortable. It is at this moment that the true nature of your connections is revealed. And although the possibility of losing a friendship or shaking up a relationship is frightening, this is the second part of the promise, the liberation from the lie. Every bond that does not survive the test of your truth is a bond that was imprisoning you in a performance. Its fading is not a loss. It is a recovery of energy. It is the end of the exhausting work of sustaining a connection that was not real. The light of the sun today illuminates both the beauty of your strength and the scars of your journey. And only those who are able to love both, the beauty and the scars, are worthy of remaining by your side. The solar force of Lilith. After crossing through the discomfort of exposure and witnessing the world's reaction to our truth, we arrive at the grand prize, the final purpose of this transit: integration. Psychology and spirituality have taught us for centuries that we must confront our shadow. But to confront is not to fight. True mastery does not lie in defeating our darkness, but in having the courage to bring it into the light and recognize it as a part of ourselves. The gift of the alliance between the sun and Lilith is precisely this: the opportunity to stop treating our wildest force as an enemy and to start seeing it as our most powerful ally. Until today, your Lilith may have operated from the shadows of your being, and a force that operates in the shadow without the recognition of consciousness can manifest in destructive ways. It can be the repressed anger that turns into self-sabotage. It can be the unrecognized desire that manifests as manipulation or resentment. It is an immensely powerful energy, but because it is not seen or accepted by your conscious identity, the sun, it ends up working against you. Today, the light of consciousness, the sun in Virgo, descends to this realm and offers a pact to Lilith. It does not say change, it says, I see you. And in this act of recognition, the power dynamic is completely transformed. Lilith's force, when legitimized by the sun, ceases to be a shadow and becomes a conscious power. Your primordial anger, when illuminated, transforms into the courage to establish non-negotiable boundaries and to fight for what you believe in. Your raw desire, when accepted, transforms into a vibrant passion that moves you toward your goals with a magnetic force. Your deep intuition, when listened to, becomes your greatest strategic advantage. What was once a secret to be hidden now becomes your signature, your unique strength. Lilith is not tamed, she is integrated. Her wild energy is not diminished. It is directed by the wisdom of your consciousness. You do not stop being who you are. You become more of who you are, whole and without divisions. The result of this integration is the alignment of courage, truth, and personal power. The internal division that exhausted you, the struggle between your image and your truth, begins to dissolve. The energy you spent repressing your force is now released and becomes available to create, to live, to express yourself. This generates a magnetic and unshakable presence. It is the energy of the person who enters a room and does not need to prove their worth, because their worth emanates from their own integrity. She is not aggressive, but she is undeniably powerful, because there is no space between who she is on the inside and who she is on the outside. And this is the final permission that the sky offers us today. Think of the nature of the sun. The sun does not apologize for being too bright. It does not worry if its light bothers some, or if it is illuminating parts of the world that some would prefer to keep in darkness. The sun simply shines, because that is its truth, its essence. The sun does not apologize for shining, and today, neither does Lilith. This is your permission to stop apologizing for your intensity, for your desires, for your strength. It is the invitation to own your truth completely, not as a flaw to be hidden, but as an essential and powerful part of your own brilliance. The inevitable stage. The alliance between the sun and Lilith today teaches us about the integration of our strength and the courage to be seen. But there is one last layer of wisdom that this transit offers us, a final truth about the nature of revelation. Today's energy is that of a truth that demands to be expressed. The illumination of our shadow is not an invitation we can politely decline. And this leads us to a crucial choice, because the truth is this: the stage is not optional. If you don't get on it, you will be pulled onto it. Think about this. The opportunity that the sky offers us today is to consciously choose to step onto the stage of our own life and present our truth with sovereignty. It is the act of having the difficult conversation on your own initiative. It is the decision to reveal a desire or a project that was hidden. It is the choice to show yourself to the world authentically, on your own terms, with your own voice. When you choose to step onto the stage, you're in a position of power. You hold the microphone, you control the narrative, you act from your center with courage and integrity. It is an act of personal power. However, if we resist this call, if the fear of exposure makes us retreat and try to push our truth back into the shadows, the energy does not disappear. It simply finds another way to express itself. And often, it does so through circumstances. To be pulled onto the stage is when the universe creates an external event that forces your truth to come to light, whether you want it to or not. It is the secret that is revealed by someone else. It is the situation that explodes and forces you to have the conversation you were avoiding. It is being exposed instead of exposing yourself. In these cases, the truth still comes to light, but we are no longer in control of the narrative. We become reactive instead of proactive. The choice today, therefore, is not between showing or hiding your truth. The choice is between courage and consequence, between sovereignty and reactivity. The invitation of this transit is for you to be the author of your own revelation. It is for you to take the microphone and speak before the universe hands it to someone else. The energy is pushing you onto the stage. Get on it with dignity. Today's journey reaches its climax. It was a day about the courage to be seen. We cross through the discomfort of exposure to find the strength that resides in our visible truth. The alliance between the Sun and Lilith invited us to an act of extreme courage, to stop hiding who we are. We saw that our shadow, when illuminated, is not a weakness, but a source of non-negotiable power. We understood that true authenticity inevitably tests our bonds, purifying our connections and freeing us from the lie. The price of visibility is real, but the reward, the feeling of being whole, of no longer being at war with yourself, is infinitely greater. What you did today, by allowing yourself to be more authentic, was an act of sovereignty. Your presence in the world, from now on, carries a new voltage, a new weight of truth that cannot be ignored. Now we arrive at the essence, the inspiring conclusion that defines this second day. Remember this. Yesterday, the mask fell. Today, the light confirms. Lilith is not just a secret of yours. She is your courage, your truth, your presence. Accept being seen. Accept being felt. Because the strength you were hiding is exactly what the world needed to see now. But a truth that is only seen and felt is not complete. It needs to be named to become power in the world. Lilith's journey does not end in revelation. It culminates in proclamation. And this is the challenge of our third and final day. Tomorrow, Lilith confronts Mercury, the planet of communication, challenging your voice. The final question of our trilogy will be, now that you have seen yourself with clarity, do you have the courage to give sound to that truth? If you have accepted the challenge of being seen today, anchor this new and courageous presence. Like this video, share it with someone who needs inspiration to show themselves, and declare the result of today's journey in the comments with the word that defines your new strength. Visible. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the final act of the Lilith Trilogy. The journey to give voice to your truth ends tomorrow.